Hello, everyone. It is Monday, December 7th, 2020. Welcome to the iPhoneography Podcast. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is hard to believe, but it's episode 22. And I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Dave Podner. How you doing, Dave?
Good, Greg. How you doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. Pretty good considering we got snow in Canada, but I mean, I guess that's normal.
Yeah, I mean that starts in what, mid-August, right?
Yeah, about that. I was going to say about the third week of August, but yeah, mid-August is close enough. Oh, we are always the brunt of weather jokes in Canada, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So how you doing? Have you been doing any photography at all lately, or?
Doing a little. Did a little, and I'm trying. Yeah, we did a little drive around on Thanksgiving night. Because people were already had up some Christmas lights.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw one of your drive-by videos.
Yeah, and some people, some are very calm and classy, and some people have a front yard full of blow-up minions.
Oh,
which are
really?
Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking 2, 4, see here, 6, 8, 10. We got around 10 to 15 minions in someone's front yard.
Well, there could never be enough minions in the world.
That is true. That is true. And we do have one house, which is just the next town over, which is literally like 3 miles. They do and every year they do it. It's this major production in their front yard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a helicopter there. There's a manger there. They're a blow-up helicopter, but it's still pretty big. It's still probably 10 foot, 15 feet long.
Oh, wow.
It's not, yeah, they have a pretty good sized front yard, and they fill every inch of it with all these decorations. And it is amazing. So we went around taking shots, trying to, also survive all the turkey and all the carbs that you tend to eat for Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Right.
And of course, taking photos from a car with an iPhone 10 and an iPhone 7, the 7, whatever Ruth has, the 7S Plus. It's not a 12. It's not even an 11, but you can get some decent photos with the live photos and some editing apps to make them.
Yeah.
It's and like I said, also taking it from a car, driving around, and I use the memories feature of the Photos app to put a slideshow together. To put a slideshow together.
Oh, neat.
So that's always that's always a big help. Instead of it just makes it. I mean, if you have a special thing going on, like a birthday or something you want to save for a long time, import it into iMovie, import it into clips. Spend all the time you want making it just right with the transitions and this and this. But if you only want to throw like a quick little, hey, here's something that happened today, but I just don't want to have anyone manually skip through, 15 photos. I'm going to make a nice little slideshow with some music. Let Apple do the work for you.
Oh, yes. I love that feature of the Photos app, the memories, because it surprises you. It just throws things in there that, sometimes you forgot you even took those pictures, and then all of a sudden they come up, and like I've had stuff come up from 2-3 years ago even.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So we are going to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you get a chance to do any photos?
I did.
Which I know we're going to talk about for more details later on. There's a tease.
So that's why we'll just pause that part for a bit, and we'll get back to that. what we were going to talk about here just briefly is, so I got this email from, excuse me, a person from the National Association of Digital Artists, from Roberta Miller. She's the executive director of the Cape Cod Arts Center. And this email was about a photo contest where the proceeds will go to help our dear friend Meri Walker, who has, anyone who's heard the show before, she lost her home to one of the fires on the West Coast there. She lives in Oregon. Well, basically 3 months tomorrow. It was September the 8th when she lost her home and everything in it. She and her dog escaped with their lives, but not much else, unfortunately. So there's a GoFundMe page. All these links will be in the show notes. And I think I made a bit.ly link for that GoFundMe campaign, and I think it's bit.ly/help Meri, I think it is. But the full link is going to be in the show notes. And so this contest, there's an entry fee. I believe it's $30.
I have it up here. It's
Okay.
30. Yeah, it's $30 for the first image and $10 for any additional entry images.
Yeah. And you know what? Because it's going to go help somebody like that, you don't mind paying the entry fee.
Right.
I'm not really big on entering contests, but this particular one actually has a theme to it. And the theme is, let me see if I can find it here.
No, actually, I have it here. Images of resilience.
Yes. Oh, you're so good. Images of resilience. So, that tells me that they want to see images of, surviving something, or, like a plant coming up through some cement or something like that. That would be a resilient image. And so there's 3 categories. Digital photography. This category includes photography this is right from their website. Includes photography that uses a digital sensor to record the image, including DSLRs and mobile phones or tablets. And then there's digital painting and drawing. So digital painters use software and apps, whether mobile or computer, to draw and paint their images. And then digital mixed media. And this category includes work in which artists may combine and manipulate images. And this is what Meri is so good at. And may use mark making, drawing and painting, and text using a variety of apps, whether mobile or computer based. So I think they say something here about, you know what? I'm just going to read the darn thing. It's only a couple of paragraphs. That way people will get a really good idea of what we're talking about here. So it says on the website for, it's the National Association of Digital Artists. It's nationaldigitalartist.org/resilience. And again, that link will be in the show notes. The National Association of Digital Artists is pleased to announce a special international competition for photographers and digital artists as a fundraising effort to support a vital member of our community, Meri Walker, also known as the iPhone Art Girl. Meri lost her home and all her belongings in the fire that ravaged Talon, Oregon on September 8, 2020, a devastating loss. Meri needs significant support to rebuild and reestablish her life. When this first happened, we talked about this. I think we mentioned it on Tiny Shutter.
Yeah,
and
we did back.
And then I also talked about it on my podcast. And she's been dealing with some health issues too, like injuries and stuff that she sustained over the year or two before she lost her home. So, I mean, poor Meri is going through a lot. She was teaching online, doing stuff like that to, support her living and everything else. And I think that's gone now too, unless she's, working on getting that going again. But anyway, so yeah, she's been going through a lot. So it continues to say here that the NADA is proud to support the efforts of her friends, family, and others in the digital art community in this endeavor. To that end, all entry fees, sales, commissions, and other donations or proceeds from this international online competition will be contributed to the GoFundMe campaign. That has been set up for Meri. With the global pandemic, raging wildfires, political turmoil and division, and social and economic inequality, the need for resilience is critical. This call for images of resilience from digital photographers and artists is designed to bring forth the creativity, hope, and strength and talent of this community to support Meri Walker and each other as we move forward into 2021. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a really good cause, and I'm probably going to dig up a photo if I can find one that suits the theme to enter in this darn thing, just for the heck of it. Who knows? You never know. I don't think I've ever won a photo contest, but you never know. You never win unless you try, right? It's like buying a lottery ticket. So
yeah. Or honestly, like anything else, and like I said, it's like, oh, I would really love to try that. Well, I mean, I understand that. You hear a lot of people say times are tough, and if $30 would be a bit of a stretch, understood. But it's a way to, try something and support someone.
Yeah, that's right. I could sacrifice, buying a coffee, going to work, a few times to make up for it. So, I'm gonna probably give it a go if I could find a suitable image. Nothing that I can think of in my recent memory comes to mind that would suit that category. But hey, let's see. The submissions are open until I think it's sometime in 2021. So there's time to get an image.
Right. Yeah, February 1st, 2021.
Yeah. So, So, if you're listening to this and if you're familiar with Meri Walker and her situation and you want to enter a photo contest, whether it's an iPhone or DSLR or whatever, as long as it's a digital camera, I mean, it could be a GoPro, who knows? Put an image in and see what happens, and to help a sister out. So
now I will say also, just as a heads up, when you click on the link to enter your photo, you'll have to scroll down the page. It's actually the third. Meri's will be the third one there.
Oh, okay.
The images of resilience. So the first one is another contest. The second one's another contest. You have to scroll down. So when you click on it, you're like, okay, where's that at? I don't see it. Where's all this? It just scroll down a little bit and you can go right there.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out because I did not know that. Yeah. So, and there's where you can read more about it, or you can actually register to enter. So, so that's good. Yeah, it's nice to see the community, whether it you might as well say the art community, I guess, pulling together and helping someone in need, especially in these times. Like, it couldn't have happened at a worse time for Meri. When there's a pandemic going on and she had to deal with going to hospitals and all this stuff, and it's just what you don't want to have to do. So, that's it's a tough world sometimes, and but she's bouncing back. I've corresponded with her a little bit now and again, and I read her updates on the GoFundMe page, and she is so appreciative of any and all help that she gets. So. All right, so moving on now, we are going to talk about an app.
Yep.
So you can take it away, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Rick. Now, I'm trying to remember where I found out about this app. Obviously, you find it on the App Store like all the other apps for iPhones, but it's been a while since I've downloaded it, so I don't exactly remember where I heard of it. There are other apps. I will say this: if it's called PhotoRoom, PhotoRoom, and it has a pink P and a little leg coming out for the R underneath it. So it's like the P and the R are on top of each other.
Okay, yep.
And it's basically, I don't want to call it a Photoshop app, but basically that's a lot of what it does. So they do have, it's free to download. What you get with the free is a lot of different options to start with, but it does put a watermark on your photo. So you're going to have to either be fine with that, which I'm sorry, but if you're getting something for free and they put a watermark, as long as it doesn't, and it's not a watermark that's like over the top of the photo, it's like a signature down below.
Right.
So it's not one of those that you get a transparent watermark on top in the middle of the photo, which kind of destroys it. It looks like a little on the bottom, and you're getting something for free. So that to me is worth it. Now you can always pay money to get more options and get rid of that. And I'll get over to how much that is later on. I think it's a pretty nicely done setup where the idea is you want to isolate your subject, and it works better having a single subject. It does not have to be a profile, a portrait mode photo. So it can just be a regular photo, but it uses whatever machine learning it has to basically cut out your main subject. And then gives you different templates that you can just post it on. That's why I say it's kind of a Photoshop. If you think about, I have this thing and I just want to take this off and put it on a background. So that's generally all it does. Now, the nice thing about it, the templates it has are set up for particular things that you want to do. Like if you sell something on Poshmark, which I know is very popular, it gives you a clean background, a text that you can change to whatever you want. So you can just post it on Poshmark or, post it on, they have Shopify templates, different, like if you have a YouTube miniature, if you want to have a thumbnail, it has that. So you can do that there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's already formatted to a horizontal right aspect for YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
So it already has that set up, and it has it where, hey, here's the look to it. Here's the color. Here's where the text would go. Here's where the main subject gets cut out. It has different things for shoes, for shopping. So if you're someone, they have like an eBay setup, fashion. So if you're like, well, I have a store that I sell on the side, or if I want to have images of things I want to highlight, it does a really nice job because you just take a photo of it. You don't have to, go through the large effort to say, I'm going to isolate this on a plain background, which can be a pain with the lighting and the images. You can just worry about getting the lighting right and getting the pose of what you're having there right. It does have the option, and this is the part of the free version, where you can manually go in and cut out the image. So it does a pretty good job. Yeah, it does a pretty good job of automatically picking out what you want to do. But if you're like, that little thing there, it didn't get or it did get, you can zoom in and use your finger to take it off or add in, depending on what you need to do. I tried to do it with a Christmas tree. It was half and half successful, but again, we're talking, it's really hard with the Christmas tree with getting the individual needles. And not making it look blocky.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something where it's the shape, the edging, like an animal is a little, or like a person or an object, like, I don't know, a RAV4, it's a little more defined. You can cut it out and you get these really nice looking templates. And they actually have a good amount of templates. Most of them have a theme about them. So as you're scrolling through the templates, it isn't just you're scrolling through, 50 templates and you're just kind of scrolling endlessly. Here's one where there's text behind it that kind of repeats. Here's one where it's a winter template. So everything kind of has a winter theme to it. different stickers.
It'd be a good way to make it. It'd be a good way to make an avatar.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
social
And
media or
actually,
something.
that is the very top one is called Profile Pics.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So and they show an example with a headshot, and either with, circles around it, so it's like a cutout that way. Now, you get a large amount of these, but occasionally you'll look and say, "Oh, there's one that says Pro on it."
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, and you're like, okay, it's like you still get a good amount, but some of the really nice ones are Pro. No problem. So you click the little Pro button to see how much it is. Now they do give you new content every month. So if this is something
like
you
the
really
free version
like,
does?
no, the Pro version.
Oh, okay.
So the
I
Pro
thought they
version,
rotated it.
no, the Pro version is kind of, hey, we give you all these, plus we're going to give stuff every month. So it's like, okay, I could see that. So it's not a one-time up charge, like how things used to be. It's we're going to give you a subscription. And you're like, okay.
There's that S word.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing this just for funsies, I don't think the subscription's worth it. Now, if you're doing this as, hey, I go online, like a friend of mine, her full-time job is selling stuff online.
Oh, yeah.
That literally is her only job. So she buys stuff, finds stuff at discount areas, resells it. This would be a great, of course, she uses Android phone, so this wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if there's an Android version, but I'm sure there's similar.
Yeah, there is, because I'm on the website and they've got a Google Play link.
Okay. And, this for her would be great because she can make it up if she thinks this is worth it, or if you think this is worth it this will make my photos look so much nicer. I can increase my sales. Or, this will help me drive traffic to my YouTube channel because I can do this and it'll make it look so much nicer. It's worth it. Because 1 month is $9.49 US.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's a little much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want to give them, I'm 100% agreeing with you, because even the 1 year at once charge is $69.99, which is $5.83 a month.
Well, if you use it a lot, that would be the way to go.
Yeah,
But like I said, you gotta use it a lot.
Now they give you a 3-day trial. You can get a 3-day trial.
Yeah.
So that 3-day trial, let's say you want to use it for a business. You can use it, see if it makes a difference, see if it makes a difference in your listings and your everything else. So if you have this as a business, $70 a year isn't that bad, but it also is like, well, you could learn. You can get a Photoshop subscription through Adobe for $10 a month, and that's a lot more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying, you try out the free version. They even have one that's like Christmas portrait, so you could just take a photo and it has the coloration for Christmas. It has different cutouts and things like that. That'd be nice for, Christmas, if you want to take, and not necessarily Christmas not cards to send out physically, but it's like, hey, I want to take a photo that we have and I want to embellish it a little bit, put a different background into it, and put it on my Facebook or put it on my Twitter, or, Instagram for the holidays. Go for it. I mean, it's a really nice thing that makes things easy and it works well.
Yeah.
They even have a podcast cover option.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. After I went all through all that work putting mine together, layering it, I did mine in PhotoFox, to be honest with you. Like the Enlight PhotoFox or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, where was this back then? So yeah, it's interesting.
I say, it's worth a try, especially the free version.
I might just download it and play with it to see about making an avatar or something like that. Just to try it and play around with it. But it's certainly I don't have a need for it, like in a business sense. So I mean, to use it, a lot would not be what I would do with it, um, but it looks interesting. They have an Instagram page too. It's PhotoRoom_app on Instagram, and they show a few examples of going through the process of putting the things together. Like there's one here where they're taking a picture of sunglasses on a table, and then I'm just kind of giving you play-by-play as I watch it here. So then now they've masked out the sunglasses, and they're going to put a colorful background behind it or whatever. So it looks interesting. Yeah, like you said, you don't remember how you even come across this, but you seem to find these little gems out there, Dave. And but looking at it, like, okay, so I'm on the website, and the website is photoroom.com, and on the website it's a very simple layout. It's just there's a graphic of an iPhone, and it keeps looping through this sequence. So it's actually showing a video of this woman walking towards the camera, and then all of a sudden it freezes the frame, cuts her out, gets rid of the background, and then it shows you the selection process of picking a background and whatnot, and putting type on there, and it's really cool actually, the way it looks, and it kind of reminds me of Clips a little bit, but I imagine it's somewhat different than Clips. Like Clips is more of making a video, is it not?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't play around with that one enough either, as you can tell. but it actually looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, and also like I said, the free version is not that limited, I would say. Where, I know some free versions you get like 2-3 templates, and you're like, okay, or you can save 5 images and then pay us, please. Which, their businesses, they have their own, they got to stay in business. I understand that. I can think of a little less annoying ways to do it, but I'm not running their business.
Yeah. What might be better than the subscription is, if you see a background or whatever that you like, pay 99 cents for it, and then you have it, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, the subscription sounds awful expensive. What'd you say it was, monthly? $9.99?
$9.49. Which I have no idea why. That's a weird thing. $9.49 is just a weird amount.
Yeah. Well, like you say, they got to make money too, and that's fine. And I wish them all the success in the world, but it's just not going to be something for me. But I might just download it and just play around with the free version and see what I can get. Because like you say, virtual Christmas cards, that's a pretty cool idea too.
Yeah.
This day and age here, that's probably what a lot of people are going to be sending out, just to make sure they get there, right?
Well, yeah, true.
So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Dave. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about it before we move on?
No, not really. Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks for finding that little gem, however it was you did it. But yeah, we'll try to do this every episode if we can. Unless we have other more pressing things to discuss, but finding these little apps and little tips and tricks and things like that, we're going to try to work them into the show on a little more regular basis, I think. So but that's a bit of a fun one right there for sure. So now we're going to talk about something that is coming up for the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max, and that is Adobe, or I keep saying Adobe. Oh, I got to stop. Apple ProRAW. Sorry, Apple. I do not mean to say Adobe.
You better watch out. They're going to come. They're coming for you.
Yeah, they're coming for me. But yeah, it's Apple ProRAW, and this is coming out in iOS 14.3. When that is going to be released, I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping it's before Christmas, because I know I'm pretty sure the people at Apple take time off over the holidays. So
the App Store actually I don't think has any updates between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, so I'm for then. But I was when I got my iPhone 12 Pro Max, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not gonna put the beta on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing these YouTube videos where Apple ProRAW came out in the beta for iOS 14.3, and I'm thinking, oh, great. So there's this little kid's voice inside my head that says, put the beta in, and I was resisting it and resisting it, and finally I thought, and I don't know if it was a certain YouTube video I watched. There was one where a fellow actually put some Apple ProRAW images on a Google Drive where you can actually download them to your phone. So I did that, and that was it. I was looking at these images and I thought, oh, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm getting the beta. So now I'm running iOS 14.3 beta 3. It's a public beta. It's not the developer beta, so anybody can get their hands on it. And you know what? It's stable. It's rock solid stable. So what they're waiting for now, I don't know. I have a feeling that when they do release this 14.3, it's going to come with Apple ProRAW, and it's also going to come with Apple Fitness, the bundle, right?
I can see that.
That's probably going to be released with it. So Apple ProRAW, it is really cool. The files are big, but and they said they would be. They said they'd be at an average of 25 megabytes, which is roughly 10 times the size of the JPEG version of the same image. So what I like about Apple ProRAW is, well, first of all, let's back up a second. What is Apple ProRAW? And I'm sure a lot of people have heard what it is, but what it is basically it's the RAW file. You know, it has all the flexibility of a regular RAW file, but it also has the Smart HDR3, the Deep Fusion, and you can even do it in night mode. You know, all that stuff gets baked into the file. I have a feeling that's probably why the files are so big. But anyway, so at this point, the only way you can view and edit these files in their souped up form is in the Photos app in iOS 14.3.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start working on it, like you hit the edit button. Okay. First of all, it'll have a little RAW tag in the upper left-hand corner of the screen to show you that it was taken with Apple ProRAW. Now, when you start editing it, that tag goes away, and you can start doing your brilliance adjustment. All the adjustment you can do currently in the Photos app, you can do on these files. And then when you save it, when you hit done and it saves, it now becomes a JPEG. So it loses its RAW tag. You can revert back to the way it was in its Apple ProRAW state. If you open that file, you can open those images in another photo editor, like Snapseed or anything that'll open a RAW file. You can open, because it's a DNG file, right?
Okay, so it is standard then.
Yes,
it's
nice. A standard. Yep. Yeah. They made the right choice there for sure. So when you open it in another app, you are actually opening the file in its normal, quote unquote, DNG or RAW state, which is without all the Deep Fusion and all that stuff applied to it. So it'll look different when you open it in, say, Snapseed or Lumibee is my one of choice, or Raw Power. If you open it up in any of these other apps, it'll look different than it does when it is an Apple ProRAW. So that's kind of a different thing. What I noticed though is the image that we're going to use for the on the website for the post here of this episode. I put a photo I took the other day after we had some snow of these trees, and then there's snow on the ground, and it's all fresh fallen snow. It was really nice. Snow was sticking to the trees and everything. Beautiful winter scene. But when I took the photo, the sun is shining towards me through the trees, and it's casting a shadow on the ground. Now, Dave, did I send you that picture?
You put it in the chat with the rest of the Tiny Shutter guys.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you've seen
I
it.
believe
Okay.
I believe that's the one you're talking about.
Yep, that's the one. Okay, so um, what happened though is the fact that the camera was able to like even in its normal state of a raw file, not with all the Apple magic applied, it still looked very good. So what I was happy with and surprised with it was that how much of a lateral or how much exposure latitude I was able to capture with the camera in a scene like that. Because usually you would think that when you take a picture looking into the sun like that, because even though the sun was coming through trees, but the sun was definitely in an opening.
Oh, yeah.
So it was pretty bright. But you could still see all the detail in the trees and that. Like, it's not like they were silhouetted. And this was to late afternoon, and of course the days are really short here.
The sun looks pretty low on the horizon there.
Yeah. Like it was probably an hour, maybe not even an hour before sunset. But I was really surprised at how well the camera picked up everything. And I still had all kinds of detail. But in the Apple ProRAW version of the image, you can really see. I'm assuming Deep Fusion kicked in and put all the details in the snow that's on the ground and all that stuff. It was really, really cool. I tried a picture in Apple ProRAW taken at night of a building. And I think, did I put that one in the chat there too, Dave?
That's why I'm kind of going back. I only right now I have to look for it. I think the one you did was the white, middle of the day.
Yeah.
More of a single tree.
I didn't put it in there. So I'm going to send this one to you. It was a building that is downtown in the city where I live. And it was just kind of lit up by streetlights and whatnot, not really brightly lit. But night mode using Apple ProRAW really brought the detail out in this thing. Like, it was crazy good. Let's see here.
Now, that is one thing I wanted to see was did you take photos? I'm assuming switching on and off isn't that bad then.
Like switching on and off the RAW?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a button up there in the upper right corner of the frame. So you just tap it and it shuts the RAW off.
Okay. Because I'm just someone who doesn't have it, you're like, okay. Just because before the ProRAW came out, people were saying, here's my photo with the iPhone 12, photo with an iPhone 12 or, Pro or Pro Max. You're like, your jaw drops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, in terms of, because you do, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you basically lose live photo possibility and portrait mode by doing the RAW because they can't include that with it. So the question is it, it sounds like it's definitely worth losing those two possibilities to get especially in difficult situations.
Yeah, because I just opened my camera and I had RAW enabled. And as soon as I hit the live photo icon, RAW shut off. So you're right about that.
Oh, that is nice though, that you can turn it off by doing that. That's a nice feature.
Yeah, because if you use live photos a lot, and you want to try shooting RAW, okay, turn on RAW and try it. And then if you want to go back to live photos, just tap the live photo button, RAW shuts off, and Bob's your uncle, and away you go. So in the right conditions, night mode kicks in automatically. I'm my office here at home where I record, it's lit by one single desk lamp, and it's pointing against the wall away from me, so the wall is like a really light gray, and it just bounces the light around the room, so it lights up the room fine. But if I was to point my phone, say, under the desk where it's dark, night mode kicks in, and it'll take a 1 second or 3 second exposure or whatever, and take the picture. And Apple ProRAW works on all the cameras, even the front-facing camera.
Yeah, and I actually opened it up on my on the computer to get it on the bigger screen, because a lot of times, people post stuff when we did have the, post pick of the week, and it would look really good on the phone. But if you blew it up to a bigger image, 20-inch monitor size, it was like, even stuff I took was like, oh, it looks really good on the phone. And you blow it up 4 times, that big. And it's like, ugh, that doesn't look as, of course, I'll never print out anything that large per se, but you notice the quality. But even here, I mean, at 100%, it is crisp. It is clear. You can actually read the sign on the side, which is in shade or in shadow.
Right.
But I'm also seeing some stars in the sky too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy good, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, that is I love the look of the farmers market too. I always love farmers markets like that too.
Yeah.
All the little neat stuff on the inside.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how old that building is, but it's an old one. So yeah, like Apple ProRAW is for those who have the iPhone 12 Pro or Pro Max. And if you don't normally shoot RAW and have been kind of afraid to try it, I think with the versatility of it, it's going to be a lot easier to use than RAWs have been in the past, especially if you're just going to edit with the Photos app. But I do know that Halide is going to incorporate it into their camera app, and the only Darkroom, maybe Darkroom, but Raw Power, I think, have said that they're going to be able to edit them. But don't quote me on those. But the Halide, I think I'm pretty confident with, but the other ones I'm not 100% sure about. So it's going to be exciting. It really changes the game for iPhone photography when you can take an image handheld with the darn thing, and the night mode shots are sometimes up to 3 seconds long or whatever, and boy, you can take a beautiful shot at night like that and have it as a raw image. One thing I've found looking at YouTube videos about it is that a night mode image without being raw tends to have some noise in it, where the Apple Pro RAW image is cleaned up quite nicely. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there, but so I can't even remember which one I saw. But yeah, it's mind blowing. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
At the quality that you can get with it. So I'm really anxious to get out and try some actual good quality photography with it. That I mean, this time of year it's hit and miss, because the only time things look really nice is with a fresh fallen snow. So hopefully when we get that, I'm not going to be working and it's going to interfere with it.
True.
I can actually get out. I'd like to get my snowshoes out and get out and take really cool pictures with it. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's say, especially like I said.
So, did you have any questions about it?
Well, well, the one about the live or the portrait. So, I mean, that is something that if you're taking a photo, you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind. Is it something I want to do portrait? And if it does, because I mean, we do have the Focus app if you want to do portrait manually outside of what Apple does. But I could see this being a big help in either, like I said, especially let's say if you're in winter, and you have snow, you have that really high contrast snow versus the dark, as it tends to get dark way too early. And helping huge with that. Like I said, with the photo here, you have the front of the building's well lit with the light from the, from the street, but the side of the building where it's in shadow, you don't have all that noise. And but you still have the really white snow. Nothing's blown out or too dark, and you're not losing a ton of detail. So this is a challenging time of year. Or when we do get summer, and you have the very bright sun, and if you're somewhere where there's a lot of reflection, it's really hard to get that really good photo. And I can see this helping out a lot of people where it's a very and as long as people, and this is one thing I really like about the iPhone, is you can't mess it up.
Yeah.
This isn't a matter of, well, I'm going to have to get a new camera for this, or I'm going to have to add something onto my existing camera if it's not a smartphone camera, or I have to download an app and, well, will it work? Won't it work? It works. And if you're not too sure that the RAW is going to turn out the way, even though I haven't seen many photos of RAW photos, you can take a photo, switch RAW off, and take a photo with just a regular JPEG. Without it being ProRAW, if you want to have that as a backup. If you're someone who's not used to it, or you're like, I heard this ProRAW, but I haven't had much experience, this makes it easy. No, give it a try. Let's say you still need, I believe you still need the Pro version cameras. The Pro version.
Yes. It only works on the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. Yeah.
Right. And the guess
which is kind of sad, because I was hoping that they would have been able to use it on the 11 Pros.
So it's either, it could be partially artificial in terms of the limitation, which I know Apple tends to do now and then. But I also know that the amount of RAM in the two phones, the non-Pro versus the Pro version, is different.
Oh, yeah.
So ProRAW may need the extra horsepower to run as Apple likes it. You could still run it. Maybe they tested it out and said, okay, it will run on a non-Pro 12, but it's going to have a delay. It's going to have a lag. It's going to have a noticeable hiccup. And they're like, but we want people to have that magic feeling when they take a photo. Where if you remember when, this was a couple of years ago, when both Google and Apple came out with their portrait mode, and Google was able to do it with one camera because they were able to they uploaded it to the cloud, did processing on it, and then downloaded the portrait mode. But that took 3 seconds. So
on a good day, yeah.
So you took a photo and you waited and you waited and you waited, and you're like, oh, there's the portrait. Versus where Apple was like, okay, we want to make this instantaneous. So we're not going to have it where everyone can have it, unfortunately, because I think they got a little snake bit at one. I'm trying to remember which phone it was. It was either the 5 or the 4S. They came with an update and it worked. Quote unquote worked on the older phones, but the older phones were basically unusable because of how much it was choking on the updates.
Yeah.
So I think Apple's got a little snake bit when it comes to, we're going to push this down to everything that could possibly run it. And if it doesn't work good, people know they won't understand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it does take a lot of processing power, to do all that they're doing with it. So, it'll be interesting to see how people deal with it and what they do with it and everything else. So, yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll move on to our final topic here real quick. And all that was that, and if you want to hear more about Apple ProRAW, Mark Sadowski got a hold of me from Tiny Shutter and wanted to do an episode where we talked about our the best or favorite apps and hardware from 2020. So I think it was maybe a case where we were trying to salvage something good from the year. So it's a lengthy one. It goes on for almost an hour and a half, but boy, we cover a lot of different things and different apps and whatnot. And so you can tune into that. It's on the Tiny Shutter YouTube channel. I'll have links in the show notes for on the post for this episode on the website. And it was fun. It was fun just going through what we liked and what we disliked, or well, not so much what we disliked, but yeah, a little bit maybe. But and we talked about photo, video, hardware. So that'll be, that episode is it's up on iTunes as well, or on the Apple Podcasts app, and wherever you can get Tiny Shutter, that's where you can listen to us go on about all that stuff. So. Thanks, Mark, again for having me on, and it was a lot of fun. And you'll be able to hear me kind of rave about the things that I like to do with my iPhone, and the same with Mark. So it was a lot of fun. So give it a listen, and if you don't like it, you can email Mark.
Yeah.
Well, Dave. I guess that's about it for this evening, and we managed to get it all in within an hour, so I think we done good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as ProfPod, on Facebook on the Tiny Shutter group as Dave Podner.
Alrighty. And you can find me on Instagram at Macmillan Photo, on Twitter, Macmillan_photo. And excuse me, and in the Tiny Shutter group as well on Facebook. And you can get this podcast on iPhoneography.ca, which will take you to the original website, which is artfulipc.com. But iPhoneography.ca might be easier to remember, I'm hoping. And check us out. We try to record these about every 2 weeks if we can, as long as life doesn't get in the way. And now 2 weeks from now is going to be pretty close to Christmas, Dave. So we may or may not do one then. We may take a break over the holidays and continue maybe in January, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. We'll be in touch with each other over that time anyway, and
we'll make sure everyone knows too.
Yeah. If we got nothing going on the Monday night 2 weeks from now, then heck, we might just do a show, but we will not guarantee it. Let's put it that way. So, I guess that's about it. Thanks, Dave, for sitting in again and, bringing up that PhotoRoom. That was an interesting one to have a look at, and we will see you in the next one.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Greg. Always enjoy talking.